So basically, I need a job. It's a progression. Like, I need money, so of course I need a job. But as a design student, in order to get a job, I absolutely have to upload my portfolio. And that's kind of harder than it seems. You might be thinking, Leanna, as a design student that graduated like a month ago, is this not behind schedule? Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. I've put this off for far too long. Hello there. Welcome to my channel, where I discuss design, wellness, art, and creativity, and just my journey through all of that as a recent grad in the Bay Area. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, feel free to stick around. If you enjoy knitting or crochet, pretty views or sunsets, spending time in nature, fitness, yoga, a healthy lifestyle, meditation, anything like that, journaling, if any of those sound good, consider subscribing and sticking around for more videos that are covering topics like that. You have the very special privilege of being one of my first subscribers and first visitors to my channel, so consider yourself lucky. I hope to be making many more videos like this in the future, but for now, join me as I upload my design portfolio. I recently graduated, but it's kind of been taking a little bit to set in because I
walked with my graduating class in the spring, but I needed a couple more units, so I took fall quarter to finish up. So
I ended up finishing up my college career in December, which is kind of random. So, I mean, it's kind of random, but like not because it's the turn of the year, but to me, timing-wise, it's been a little bit random. Anyways, that's why this process is taking so long. I have put this off for far too long and have done an amazing job at procrastinating this particular task. But we're gonna get it done. It's gonna get done. So I started by going through my camera roll and putting everything that was relevant to the projects that I've made, teams that I've been on, anything related to the work that I've done, and really tried to keep it simple for my brain. And I just sorted it into a folder called things I've made. This step took a little bit of time, a little bit more time than I was anticipating. Mostly because I was unmotivated. Besides being tedious, it was good for me to see, like, actually, when it was all collected into the one folder, it was good for me to see that, like, wow, I've kind of done a range of things. Not only a range of things, but, like, some pretty cool things. Like, I learned to weld at one point in my my time there. That was for various classes, like various design classes and art classes there at Stanford, and it was cool to see it all like in one place. Like, I tend to maybe not acknowledge my achievements as much, but like it's more so like time-wise, like once the thing has passed, or once the accomplishment has passed, or the success, then it's like out of sight, out of mind. Like, if I don't have something like visually that I can remind myself that I did that thing, it kind of will, it'll be easier for me to like discredit myself or talk down to myself, which I'm trying not to do. So yeah, I guess this exercise was pretty good for realizing that, like, oh yeah, I can make things, I can design things, I can ideate, I can sketch them and prototype them and work with users and conduct interviews and yeah. So the whole overall process was like good for me to do some reflection. Yeah. So then I just had this giant album of photos, and so at this point I took a step back and kind of like zoomed out and tried to organize, group the projects into projects. I don't know. I listed out the projects that I had. Some of the projects were spanning across the entire class, or they were like just a snippet of the class, like a portion of the class. So for example, in the sculpture, I have one page for the sculpture one, but it's like 3 different projects that I did. So 3 different sculptures. And, but I didn't feel like, I don't know, I was kind of just mostly showing off fabrication. So I didn't really think that it was kind of worth it to break them up into each different project. Whereas for the, like mixed images project, that one was like from ideation, or from user research, ideation, all the way to final product and final deliverable. That one was much more in-depth, much more all-encompassing, and so it just made more sense for it to be a standalone. Once I kind of sorted them out into relevant projects and different classes and stuff, I went through the also tedious process of converting the file types and uploading them onto the website platform that I currently use, which is Wix. That was tedious just because I needed to convert it to like a slightly smaller file size, JPEG instead of HEIC, stuff like that. I had decided at the beginning that I wanted to structure it in terms of prompt, process, product, and pitfalls. It followed the structure of a lot of the design assignments that we had. For example, we would often be given like a very open-ended prompt and then use our own discernment or own kind of direction to guide which way we wanted to go. So first, what was the assignment or the instructions that were given to us in that particular project? And then starting out with either user research or ideation or brainstorming, moving on to sketching, prototyping, and development and iteration, and then onto refining. The product was what was the final deliverable or final product that we presented to either the class or a set of judges, oftentimes. And then finally, what aspects of the project could have gone a little bit better. This is where I did like a little bit of reflection, also considering like external factors that were outside of my control. It was good for me to realize that, okay, I kind of did a lot of the work for a lot of these projects, and if it didn't become as good of a product as I wanted it to be, then maybe there were other factors that I don't have to put all of that blame on me, which I tend to do. So in the first round of this, because yes, there were multiple rounds of this description writing. In the first round of this, I definitely went a little bit too descriptive and went a little bit overboard, but I did learn my lesson. And why is that? Because the stupid table / form that I was using did not save, and it did this 3 separate times. So finally, I just got frustrated, opened a Google Doc. Because of that setback, I was forced to learn to keep my descriptions short and sweet, but they were much shorter than what the first round was, but it got done. Those particular setbacks killed my motivation quite a lot, and I think several days passed in all of this. I was going through it. I was in sad boy mode. Like I was kind of, yeah. So I went through and checked to see if everything was good, like POV, you're visiting my website portfolio. So I wanted to make sure that it was okay for anyone that viewed it. Like, doesn't matter if they were viewing it on a computer or a phone, which is important because the mobile view can be a little bit finicky. And now, finally, I can publish my portfolio, make any final touches and design changes, and then shift over to working on / updating my resume. Before, I was considering going after a dog handler position at a doggy daycare. I've worked at a doggy daycare before during college, and there was a plan at one point to do that again my last quarter at Stanford. That didn't really pan out because I thought it was going to be too much time / effort, because it really took a lot out of me the first time that I worked as a doggy daycare the first time I worked at a doggy daycare, it took a lot out of me, and I ended up having to pull out of school, which was not fun. I was not in a good place. But so I didn't do that. So I had to update a couple things, like skills and relevant coursework. Switched that over to looking for a design role. Okay, so here are my projects. I'm pretty sure it's sorted alphabetically, so let's just get into it. Those are the mixed jigs that I mentioned earlier. So this is the start to finish project. This is ergonomics. We had to redesign a handle, and my team decided to go with a tire lever. And so this is my little drawing. The various biomechanics that are the different forces that are acting upon the handle. This is a t-shirt design that I did for my high school's track team. So I got to feature a lot of different giving options to them, and then the final product. This one I added in. I'm not the greatest at Revit, but I do have some background. I took this crash course. So over the course of 10 weeks, I learned best practices and stuff like that, and how to build something from scratch. And this one, like I had said earlier, this is a combination of all of the projects that I worked on while in this class. So I just added all of them together and did it under planning and fabrication. This one's kind of cool. I enjoyed, I was happy with where I ended up on it. Very low fidelity type prototype, but I did like the process of trying to showcase my best feature. Yeah. I kind of want to make a boba bottle. Boba buddy? That's what I called it in my assignment. And then I also featured a lot of the graphic design work that I did, and this one was a little bit more unique because I was working with one specific organization over a longer period of time, and within an existing brand guideline. So this was the old landing page, and then I changed it to, there was a nicer looking banner, but I didn't take a screenshot, and then I used the Wayback Machine to kind of go back to what it used to be, because they updated it, because that event has passed, but it looked cute. I did a bunch of stuff. Added a bunch of resources. So I did a lot of work on this project, so I wanted to feature all of it. So also some photo editing stuff. This is what they gave me before. I didn't take any of these pictures. I was just handed them, but I was in charge of getting them ready for use in the brochure. Yeah, there. And then UI stuff, we worked on a project where we got to choose any platform that we wanted. This was around the time of lockdown era when everyone was going to Zoom school, and my parents are actually elementary school teachers, and they were really struggling with trying to direct second graders to press the right buttons and to share their screen in order to troubleshoot. And so we took on the task of figuring out what the problem areas were and what was causing friction in that experience of trying to relay to kindergartners or second graders to press this button. And so we tried to go through and work through how could we make that process easier. So then after we did our prototype on paper, we moved onto a more higher fidelity prototype platform using Figma, and from there we were able to do click-throughs. And so I did link it here so that you're able to, well, I don't want to do that right now. I was going to show you, but if you want to see it, you're going to have to log in using a basic Google login. I just didn't feel like it at this current moment. I also included my sticker business, so all of the designs, and this is also including like managing a business and how that has gone. This last one is kind of just a catch-all. I need to fix that. But yeah, I wanted to highlight some of the both like design sketches on a technical level, but also a creative level. Like a lot of these like are brainstorms and thinking like, what could I make and how do I best communicate this visually. Some process pictures, and then I also included, I didn't know where else to put it because I didn't want it to be another own entirely new thing, but I included a lot of graphic design things that I made that I liked, and I wanted to feature it somewhere. But yeah, so that's it. Those are my projects. Yeah, glad to see them all in one place. As you can see, it's an ongoing process. There will probably be things that you forget about, like I forgot that I know how to film and edit videos, so I'll have to be adding that to my portfolio soon. So yeah, it's important to keep your portfolio up to date as best you can. That's pretty straightforward advice. Other lessons learned for me personally, keep it simple, get straight to the point, keep it brief, clear and concise. That's best, yeah. Sometimes there will be things that are outside of your control. Can't really do much about that except like roll with the punches and try to combat that as best you can. Take it easy on yourself when things aren't going your way. Getting to the point will help you with getting more things done in general. So if you're like me and if you're a perfectionist and kind of can't move on until it's like 100% done, or like if you're overthinking how good it needs to be, that's not serving you. You just get what you can on the paper, work with that. You can make it better later on down the line, but as long as you get something, and it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. Like that's what the iterations are for. I don't know why I'm telling myself this as a design student, but I guess I need to learn this lesson doubly, that like the whole foundation of design is based on like iteration, and things will not be perfect the first time. But I have not seemed to learn that yet in my own life. So we'll work on applying that. Yeah. Lesson of the day, iteration. Keep it simple. Keep it simple and work in iterations. Iterations are okay. Iterations are designed to not be perfect. Get something on the page. Oh well, thank you for joining me. I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.